tell Paige to shut that bio.
All right, Dunaway, we're live. We are live. We
So
are
that's
live,
official.
everybody.
That's officially the first thing that we made on the broadcast.
That was it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
fantastic.
it. That was it. We're live on the Culver's postgame show.
Covers love that.
Friends, of course, at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. All your tailgating needs, from the burgers to the chicken to those great desserts right there at Culver's. Couple locations: Highway 119, just off 280, and also out in Stadium Trace near the Hoover Met. Also, Next Round Cocktails. We'll tell you more about them. You can see them behind Dunaway, behind me. Next Round Cocktails. And is Lance drinking one? Yes.
No, I'm drinking. I actually had a buddy bring me this. You guys know I love bourbon, and so I am sipping an Elmer T. Lee bourbon neat right now. It's very good.
The old Elmer T. Lee, huh?
Brown, I'm drinking what I'd like to call Redmont vodka over ice.
Yeah.
In my Culver's Yeti.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I got my Culver's Yeti too, Jimmy Dave.
Hey, can I just jump in and say that? So it was 2010, so 12 years ago, we were on our really first fall of doing a show when Cam Newton came onto the scene, and you saw flashes against Arkansas State. Right. I saw that with Anthony Richardson tonight.
Boy, I did too. Yeah, I did too. I don't mind saying it. Yeah.
You know, and people are kind of dogging me out. Utah's overrated. Utah's a good team. You know, they played clean football tonight. They had 3 penalties. They had 1 turnover there. The final turnover, bad decision by Cameron Rising. You know, Tavion Thomas had the fumble on the 1-yard line. Utah is a really good team. Billy Napier had that team. They had swagger, as you would say, Dunaway. They played with a ton of confidence. And Anthony Richardson, with his legs, able to take it over, didn't make mistakes with his arm. I think Florida's going to be a tough out. They're going to get better and better each week.
Well, let's tap the brakes first. I want to say one thing. How can your genius of a coach, Dan Mullen, not figure out that guy, how to put that guy into an offense?
We've owned that we were wrong on that. Can we just Lance and I have owned that we're wrong on that? Yeah, you're right. I mean, how did Dan Mullen not have him playing? He's perfect for Dan Mullen.
I mean, Billy Napier comes in. Billy Napier comes in and says, "Let's see, Anthony Richardson. We'll just run the offense through you, man. Whatever you think. If you need to run it right, run it right. You want to run it up the middle, right? You want to jump pass, jump pass. You want to throw it, throw it. Do whatever you want, Anthony, because we don't have a lot of guys. So just do whatever you want."
Yeah, but I do think he was a little immature, and he probably still has a little bit of that in him. But it seems like the team is buying into him. And last year, I mean, the kid was, I think, 17 when he, got on campus.
Yeah. I was impressed by him. Cam Rising was really, really good until that last pass. That was just such a weird interception he threw at the end there. I think he saw poor man's Cooper Kupp laying on the ground there and thought he was going to try to sneak one in. But boy, just a lot of what do we get? Oh, the lock is
Beavers. Right Chance Nolan 6-0 at home, Riser Stadium. We need this.
Beaver
believers. Great day, boys.
Beaver believers.
I'll tell you, Shane Beamer has turned into his dad with 2 block punts for touchdowns. He's killing me.
Hey, and I don't know if you're watching early, fake field goal for a first down to score a touchdown. So he's blocked 2 punts and a fake field goal. I was watching.
Well, I couldn't get Dunaway's password, so really, I haven't seen any of Auburn. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to watch tomorrow.
Well, they're still playing. If you want to watch them, they're still in a delay, Lance. That game's not over.
Yeah, but
have we started yet? By the way, have we started this yet? By the way,
we're live. Yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're live.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're off and rolling right now. I tell you, my password, if anybody needs it, I think we've had too many logins. Is the problem? I got locked out. I can't log in anymore. I don't know why. What's happening here? A lot of stuff was just said there. Let's go first to Shane Beamer in South Carolina. How's that game going right now? Last score check on that one. I haven't checked on that one.
35-14. Yeah, it's not over, but it is approaching the end. It is 35-14. I'll pull it up right now. There's 5:46 to go. 35-14. So South Carolina's in control of that one.
That was my upset alert. I thought Georgia State would win the game outright. They had a second half lead, and special teams. I mean, we talk about all 3 phases. Everybody talks about, how good's the offense, how good's the defense. Special teams literally won that game for South Carolina.
Yeah, good job to John Lunsford working behind the scenes there. Culver's and Next Round Cocktails, as you can see. As someone said, I'm surprised to see Lance. So are we, and so was our graphics team. But Lunsford adjusted. Culver's and Next Round Cocktails.
I'm a team player, boys.
I know. We appreciate it. This is going to be fun. Let's see. Jay Price asked if we
can I
see
tell everybody in my background they can talk?
Go
yeah.
go
you
ahead.
guys.
Yes.
Dunaway will hate it, but you guys don't act like you're statues. You guys just as is. Okay.
My daughter's about to get home from the lake, so she's going to walk in and the dog will bark. Charlie will bark like crazy. Jay Price asked if we can see the chat. We can see the chat. Absolutely. So hit us in the chat. We'll take your comments in the chat. Yes.
Maggie's home, by the way. If we're just throwing things out. Say hi, Maggie. She didn't say hi.
Beat Temple last night.
She was not there, but she was pretty pumped. They won 35-0.
Yeah.
Does she have to do a service tomorrow?
No, we're heading down to the Collectivist Church in Calera to watch our daughter sing tomorrow. So.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hit some of these. Comments. Emily says, "Go Dogs, buddy. Were they impressive?"
I'll tell you this, man, and
really good.
I think you guys more than anybody else. I've been a Stetson Bennett fan, and I think Stetson Bennett. This is going to sound weird. He's a right-handed Kellen Moore, where he is right now. I think he's a guy that his teammates absolutely love. He's in control, makes no mistakes mentally. I know going back to the national championship game, there were a couple, but he is so confident right now. And, he's a guy that can move around a little bit. He's underrated athletically. I'm a Stetson Bennett fan. I think he is borderline an elite college quarterback. I know people think that's crazy, but watching him tonight, I mean, he's really good.
Well, that's not crazy. I mean, Brown has told us at least twice over the summer, the stat that they brought up during the broadcast about last year's QBR, only Bryce Young and CJ Stroud were better than him. But you can't deny that for the first 3 quarters of the national championship game, he was costing his team a title, or Alabama was forcing him into mistakes, however you want to look at it. And then he played a great fourth quarter, and now no pressure on him at all. He's forever a legend, and he played fantastic today. But if you're going to start with Georgia and go Stetson Bennett first and not that defense, then I think I think we're off on the wrong foot there. That defense, you turn it on. You watch all those games in week 0. You watch Thursday night, you watch Friday night, you watch the 11 o'clock games today, and immediately when you turned on the Georgia game, that defense, those 11 guys were playing at a different speed than any football you had seen up until 2:30 today. Now, you've seen some other good football after that, but until 2:30 today, that was fast, man. That was fast.
Brown, that defense was legitimate. But my whole point is, if you get a borderline elite quarterback with that defense, to me, I thought Georgia would take a step back. I thought they were still one of the 4 or 5 best teams in college football. But that Georgia team that I saw today can win another national championship.
Oh, absolutely. And that's my point. The defense didn't drop off, and you've got the quarterback, and now you've got a coaching staff with that quarterback. We thought they were going to come out and be conservative like they always were. Remember last year, Clemson and Georgia, only the defense scored. They came out and they put it in Stetson's hand. They slung it around the yard. It was an impressive outing.
It was. I want to comment on that, but I got to go back. And this is wholly, entirely for you, Dunaway. Such an inside. Well, it's not an inside joke. You said this on the show. Hot Marianne also says, hey, that also from Emily. Hot Marianne says hello. Oh. Hot Ole Miss Marianne. Her team won today. Her team won. Jackson Dart.
Oh, wow. Hot Marianne's watching?
Hot Marianne's watching.
I am now intimidated. I'm nervous.
It's okay, man.
I seriously doubt she's watching. Unless they're in a group setting, she's probably walking back and forth, pouring a glass of wine, drinking it, pouring another glass of wine, and just barely paying attention to us.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Bo Nix. While we're on that game, Cotton says Bo Nix impressions.
Same Bo Nix. Yeah.
You can move him to the West Coast, but he's the same guy as he was in the Deep South.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad for Bo, man. I mean, it just looks so weird in an Oregon uniform, and still made those mistakes, pressed, and then you can see him scramble for 25 yards, every 10 plays, and you can see why, he's a frustrating quarterback to play against, but I don't know. I don't know how much better Oregon is than Auburn was last year. I mean, unless Georgia, which we all agree looks like an elite team, Oregon looks very pedestrian.
Yes, Oregon did not look good. It was hard to tell. Bo didn't play well. He was outmatched. You can't tell if it was, the offensive line they said early on was going to be better than the Auburn offensive line last year. I guess I'm going to leave the jury out on Bo Nix at Oregon, the whole Bo Nix experience, until we see them play normal Pac-12 competition, right? And so what's the rest of the year look like?
Well,
because you would think the rest of the year is going to be easier than what he experienced for the rest of the year in the SEC, right? So his experience from now on has got to be easier than, say, if he had been leaving this game with Georgia today and he still had, Florida and LSU and Alabama and those type teams to play. So we'll see what the rest of the year looks like. Didn't think it was a great showing for Dan Lanning either. And some of us had him tabbed as possibly the next coach to replace Nick Saban.
One game done away.
Well, I mean,
the guy's just back.
I'm a Dan Lanning guy. I agree with you. And you said I think one day he could be a coach in the SEC, and I do think he didn't have the guys today. That team, the 11th ranked team in the country, was there only because of their uniform and reputation. Oregon State score again.
Yeah, so I was going to tell you guys, so watching the Pac-12 today, and I had to do one of those ridiculous subscriptions. I didn't want to go upstairs for my Fire Stick, so I did a Fubo. What is it?
Wait a minute. Whoa. Instead of walking up a flight of stairs, you just subscribe to a whole new service?
Well, you have all the TVs downstairs.
Yeah, all the TVs are down here. I got people down here, food, drink, all that kind of stuff. So I would have been isolated doing that. So I did the 1 week free subscription to Fubo. And so I watched basically 3/4 of USC. Defense is not going to be good this year. Their offense is going to be electric. The offensive line's shaky, but Caleb Williams is so athletic. My point there is, I think they're going to be a tough out. Oregon State, I told you guys, they're going to be really good. Outside of this fumble, it should be 21-0 right now in the first quarter. And then Utah, I know people are going to say, middle of the pack Florida team or middle of the pack SEC team. Utah is a legitimate team. That was a tough spot.
Yeah, that was a tough spot. They played. Look, those 2 fourth-quarter drives they had, the drive Rising took them down the field to answer the Florida score to give them the lead. And then that last drive, they were really good drives. Now, Rising threw the pick at the end, but no, that Utah team, that's a tough team. They'll be a really, really tough out in the Pac-12.
In the Pac-12, yeah. I mean, it was a tough setting. I loved what they were saying. Man, this drive and this atmosphere, or like we like to call it, a typical Saturday night in the SEC. You get that atmosphere 8 or 9 places in the league. That's the difference between Southeastern Conference football and most of the rest of the country. But they'll go back out. They'll probably win the Pac-12 and may end up in the playoffs when it's all said and done. They're a good team. He's a good quarterback. It was a great drive. I thought they were about to walk off with a game-winning touchdown, and he forced it there, I thought.
Yeah. I'll go on and tell you right now, Florida's going to beat Kentucky next week.
Oh, what's the line going to be on that game?
Pick. Yeah, maybe Florida 2 or 3.
Where it's in Lexington.
It's in Lexington. It's at Kroger.
In Gainesville. Yeah. It's in Gainesville.
I thought it was at Kroger. Yeah. Okay, all right.
Gainesville, and then they've got South Florida. By the way, that team still sucks.
Yeah, they do. I saw that. Hey, but on the Florida thing, real quick, since you brought it up. But next week's when we sort of see, about Anthony Richardson's maturity, right? The whole team's maturity, because they just beat the number 7 team in the country on national TV in that atmosphere. And now everybody's, Anthony Richardson, Cam Newton, Billy Napier. Oh, he's the perfect hire. This Florida team's back, blah, 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 blah. Now here comes the Kentucky team that, looked the way we thought they'd look today. Average at times, in the trenches there, blue collar, all that stuff. Is Anthony Richardson really mature? Can he handle the success, or does Mark Stoops go down there and get a win? That'll be a real test this week for them coming off such a big win.
Well, to me, the good news for Florida is Kentucky's going to be 17th or 18th nationally, so you can't sleep on a team like that. So I think it's just move forward. Let's beat another ranked team. After that, I think they probably lose in Knoxville based on both the teams I saw. I mean, to me, that's kind of a toss-up game, but I'll give Tennessee a win at home. There's a good chance they start 6-1 heading into the cocktail party, and that's a story.
Yeah, it's a huge story. You're absolutely right. And
yeah, without a doubt, I agree with you, LT. But Brownie, I mean, we've seen it before. Okay, everyone's jacked for this first game, and now Florida plays Kentucky, and Florida thinks, we're better than Kentucky. I know they're ranked, but we just beat Utah. We're better than Kentucky, and sometimes that bites you in the ass.
It does. Richard says, "What's the 411 with Next Round Cocktails?" It's a great new sponsor of ours, Next Round Cocktails. You can see more at drinknextround.com, drinknextround.com. You can see them behind me right there. Let me grab one of these.
Well, you want to see my roommate
actually have them? You have
I got some upstairs, yeah.
I don't have the product.
You want to see the roommate shotgun one?
Well, isn't that alcohol by volume a little bit of an issue with her shotgunning one?
I mean, I would think Fireball or Jägermeister is more than 14.7.
I really don't know how that works. Yeah. Anyway, next round cocktails. This is the salted lime margarita, and also have, what is that? The rose sangria. Yeah, sangria. Yeah. So next round cocktails, drinknextround.com. They're bringing you the show, but Culver's also is, as well as the Culver's Saturday post game. Culver's Welcome to Delicious. All the burgers, chicken, everything you need for your tailgate, you can get that at Culver's Welcome to Delicious. If you're watching on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed already, please do that. Click that thumbs up as well. That helps us out. We greatly appreciate it. If you're watching us on Twitter, fire off a retweet. Don't get sick with Lance's camera. Fire off a retweet on Twitter. Like us wherever you're watching us, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. We thank you so much. We're seeing all your comments, trying to get to them as much as we can.
Lunsford just posted where you can buy local stores for the next round cocktails. Thank you, Lunsford.
Got it up, nextroundlive.com/ and you see all that right there. So there you go. Lunsford posting that in the chat room there. Good job, Luns. Thank you. Let's go. I want to start early. Appalachian State, North Carolina. I gave up on that game like 5 different times, and that ended up being an incredible game. I mean, just up and down the field. I've never seen like it. Guys, Drake May's going to have an incredible freshman year because he's going to have to play to the end of every single game, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Drake May is a special talent. He might end up being better than Sam Howell was.
I think he will.
I'm just shocked at how bad their defense is. They've got athletes. The defense is awful. I mean, to give up 40 points in the fourth quarter, outside of because of the, I guess, what was at stake for Utah and Florida, outside of that, that was the game of the day. I mean, if you like offense, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Well, you say North Carolina has athletes. I will tell you their secondary is allergic to tackling. They're horrible at tackling. Gene Chizik would have been better off taking Dari, Alyssa Lang, Peter Burns, and Roman Harper and put them back in that secondary and let Roman coach them up back there. They'd have been more able to make contact. That team can't play defense at all. And people are going to say it's Chizik. I don't know if it is. I don't think it is. That guy's had an undefeated season at Auburn, won a national championship at Texas. I think he's a pretty good defensive coordinator. I don't know what it is. You got to want to hit somebody, and that team does not like to tackle.
Well, back-to-back weeks, 5 total touchdowns for Drake May, back-to-back weeks. Now, once was against FAMU, but the other one on the road at Appalachian State in a tough environment. They're going to need every one of them. That was a fantastic game. I personally go game of the day, Houston and UTSA. Houston, maybe the big hope for the group of 5. They go to triple overtime with UTSA at the Alamo Dome. Great atmosphere, just a fun game to watch. That was a quality game there.
Yeah, it really was. And I was pulling for UTSA, not only because I had them plus 3.5. We talked about it, and Dunaway, you brought this up on the earlier show today. Dana Holgerson's gotten a little obnoxious. God, that crowd was so good to see. We're getting that now with UAB at Protective. People are starting to really support that program. But that place was going nuts, man. When they tied it up, I couldn't believe, and I kind of wanted the game to end when they were down 3 before it went into overtime because, Brown, you and I talked about that's where dogs go to die. I didn't want it to go to overtime. And that 3-play drive in like 28 seconds was pretty incredible. Frank Harris, good quarterback. That's a good team. Both those teams are really good.
Yeah, I mean, they usually have about 30,000 for a game there. But, when you have, an in-state team like Houston who's ranked in there, you're going to get a good crowd. A lot of Houston folks were there for that game, too. It was an entertaining game, the fact they went to overtime and such. Nothing beat Utah, Florida. I enjoyed the heck out of the first half of Notre Dame, Ohio State, too, the way Notre Dame schemed up that great offense. I know we'll eventually get to it, but it doesn't have to be 40 points in a quarter for me to enjoy it. 10-7 at the half, the way Notre Dame, I mean, we all know how good C.J. Stroud is and that Ohio State offense. For what Marcus Freeman dialed up, I thought that was impressive.
Yeah, don't let what Dunaway just said wash over you. Appalachian State had a 40-point fourth quarter football game. That is impossible. I don't even know how you managed to do that. How do you score 40 points in the fourth quarter and still lose a game?
Well, and I really thought, we go back to 2019 LSU and 2020 Alabama. Those are some of the most efficient offenses we've seen in the history of college football. I thought Ohio State would be right there with them this year. And for them to score 21 points, man, I give Marcus Freeman a ton of credit, man. And that team will get better and better, too. I mean, you get a first-time starting quarterback. That defense looked legitimate. I was shocked. That was one of my biggest surprises. Although Ohio State wins by double digits, the way they won was really surprising.
Yeah, me too. I thought it would be, I didn't think it'd be like what Georgia and Oregon ended up being, but I thought it would be that big of a mismatch, and it was not. And I think a lot of that was coaching from Marcus Freeman and his staff.
Yeah. Bobby says, Jim, all those accomplishments you listed for Chiswick happened a long time ago. 2010 team had to overcome his first half meddling nearly every game. Look, I mean, that North Carolina team plays a little bit like that 2010 team played. They're not great defensively, and they got a quarterback that's good enough to bail them out of it. So I don't know. Maybe that's what you're going to get with that North Carolina team. But Dunaway, you had a lot on Ohio State, Notre Dame. Is Ohio State, in your mind, have we overrated them? Was Notre Dame better than we thought? Did we talk too much about that great Ohio State offense? What happened there, you think?
No, I mean, start off with the fact that they threw a shutout in the second half. I mean, that's the one thing you worry about with Ohio State is, can they stop anybody? Well, when their offense wasn't working, their defense kept them in that football game and threw a shutout for the second half. And no, I think that team will get better and better. Do I think they're the second best team in the country after watching week one? No, I think they're the third best team in the country. I think it's Alabama.
Georgia and Alabama?
Yeah, Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we always do this knee-jerk reactions, but, man, I mean, looking at the schedules, I don't know who's going to beat Georgia and Alabama. I mean, regular season. I know it's week one, but my gosh. I mean, just domination. I mean, for Georgia to score on their first 7 possessions and to hold Oregon to 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, let's keep in mind that Alabama was playing Utah State. Just say that up front. Georgia was playing an Oregon team. That's a big difference, and Georgia looked really, really good. So just of what we've seen by opponent and everything, advantage Georgia over Alabama a little bit right there. But Alabama was toying with a Utah State team like they were supposed to. We'll learn a little bit more about them this week when they go to Austin, which I think Texas and Oregon are going to be a little bit alike, especially if you throw in the home field advantage in Austin. So I look forward to that game coming up this week. But no, I agree with you. I don't think anybody can beat Georgia in the regular season. And if nobody beats Alabama, we're going to have 2 teams from the SEC back in the college football playoffs, because you can't keep one of those out.
Auburn is back underway, 42-10 with 7.5 to go in the game. They lead Mercer. And I don't want to read too much into this. That was a really, really long delay. But here on Twitch, John is going to say what I was about to point out. TJ Finley threw a couple bad picks in that game. Ashford came in and hasn't left the game since. I don't want to read too much into that. They were rotating them. Lance, I know you weren't able to see the start of it. I don't know if you did, Dunaway, but for the first half, they basically, our first quarter at least, first 4 possessions, they basically played a 2-quarterback system with Finley and Ashford. And Ashford definitely brings a run element that Finley doesn't have.
Yeah, and I think – go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, I think I saw – they had Ashford at other positions at a time, right? They had both of them on the field at the same time.
Well, they ran a gadget play where, there was a handoff pitch, to Ashford. So, for a gadget play but he took a lot of snaps. I mean, look, he was only 3 or 4 passing for 72 yards. Had a big pass, but he also had 5 carries. So he touched it, a good bit. Yeah,
that 149-yard run was impressive. He has a lot of great speed. 1-2 punch, but TJ's got to be smarter with the football. It was 28-0 before he threw his first interception. So, maybe you got a little loosey goosey after you had a 4 touchdown lead, but you can't do that. I mean, you can't put your team in trouble turning it over, no matter who you're playing. And those 2 picks were both bad picks.
Yeah, I was just, one of the things we talked about yesterday is going into this game, I wanted to see how much command he had of the offense, and I wanted to see the accuracy go up. The guy is completing 54% of his passes in his career, and then to throw 2 picks and Ashford takes over. Ashford does have speed, though, Dunaway. I saw the highlight of that one run.
Oh, he can run.
Yeah, and here's the thing for Harsin. I mean, they've got a couple of weeks to figure this thing out because San Jose State is not good.
I mean, here, let's just get listener viewer reaction here. Chase, Ashford has a legit shot at QB1 heading into week 2. Finley has made some awful mistakes. Ashford at least has mobility. That is true. Charlie, Ashford is looking better. Of course, it may change with competition, but as an Auburn fan, give me Robbie Ashford. Dave, Ashford gives me hope. Scott Forrester from the back row. Ashford has definitely looked better. Looks like, just in the fan vote right now, guys, looks like Ashford has a slight lead.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be a genius. At some point, do you do what Napier's doing with Richardson? You just have a handful of plays that Robbie Ashford's good at, and you say, okay, let's go see if Robbie Ashford's good enough to give us our best chance of winning.
Would be blown away. I've always heard Ashford's a better baseball player than football player. It's awesome that, he's in this situation right now. But I will tell you, there's a reason people were talking Anthony Richardson up, as a guy that could really ultimately be an elite quarterback. Again, it's one game this year. I didn't see it last year, but I saw it tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Ashford obviously is not the passer that TJ Finley is. Not yet, anyway. Maybe he can develop into that. But when they brought him in, he was coming in to run the football. You can do that against Mercer and survive. You cannot do that in the Southeastern Conference. If they're not going to respect your pass in the SEC, you're not going to have the run lanes you've got against Mercer.
Well, let me ask you this: when John Rice Plumlee was the quarterback at Ole Miss, from what you've seen from Robbie Ashford, the same, better than, or less than?
Plumlee looked like a better passer at the time, but okay. I mean, you barely seen Ashford throw. I mean, he didn't play at Oregon, and what did I tell you? He had 3 attempts tonight, so it's kind of hard, Let's see, he's now 4 of 6, and I haven't seen most of them because a lot of those I didn't see him throw once. Everything, I think all the passes he's thrown have come since the rain delay, if I'm not mistaken, or most of them have. But all the reports from the scrimmages Dunaway was he was horribly inaccurate.
Yeah.
And well, if you have to depend on him to throw, you're in trouble.
Well, it's a good time after a couple-hour rain delay to throw him out there at the end of a game against Mercer and see what he can do, try to build up that confidence.
Did Oregon State just score again, LT, or they've had a big play? We lost LT. Steven says it looks like Oregon gave up too much for Bo Nix.
Yeah, I did see our buddy Connor O'Gara Saturday down south that maybe they should try to move Bo Nix before the trade deadline.
Hang on, we lost LT. That means we're going to have to make an adjustment here, Dunaway.
Oh, that's okay. We've already got the graphics. People understand a spinning wheel. Does that bother anybody? Nobody answered.
Nobody answered. Nobody's there to answer. All right, he's Jim Dunaway. I'm Ryan Brown. It is our Culver's postgame show. Presented by Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. Oh, we got graphics, Dunaway. Graphics we have. Culver's, welcome to Delicious. All your burgers and chicken for your tailgating. You can get those at Culver's, Highway 119 280, and also Stadium Trace out in Hoover. Also, Next Round Cocktails. Drinknextround.com. Lunsford, if you want to dig back through the chat here, Lunsford's giving you a link to where you can get Next Round Cocktails. So they are bringing you the show tonight. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share us, like us on Facebook, share us wherever you're watching, retweet, all those things. We appreciate you doing that.
And I would be drinking the Next Round cocktail, but
you didn't get one.
All I got was this damn picture. I didn't know anybody had the product.
Yeah, it was. They were at my desk, and there were 2 of each. Maybe I was supposed to give you 2, and I keep 2. All right, LT has rejoined us. Oh, I know what happened. You moved downstairs, didn't you, Lance? Lance moved. No,
downstairs. I was downstairs, but my computer went dead. It just power, so I had to plug it in. And I would show you somebody that's sitting in a seat that I'm supposed to be sitting in right now, but not a good look. Unless you want to see.
No, I tell you what, I'm good, man. I am good.
Is it Cameron?
Oh, that's big guess. Big shot there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in a non-related story, I can't even say it now. Never mind.
No, go ahead.
No, I can't.
It's after dark, right?
It is after dark.
Yeah, I can't say it. I'll tell you off air.
All right, let's go to Alabama. Alabama, a big-time winner over Utah State. Let's go positive first. We saw, I thought, some pretty good receivers for Alabama. I think they're going to be just fine at wide receiver, guys.
Wait, let's go positive first. Was there a negative?
Yeah, I didn't think the line play was all that great, but we can get to that. But I'd like to start with the positives. Yeah. Kobe Prentice, I thought looked really, really good.
Well, yeah, I thought Prentice looked good, but I mean, early on, it looked like Burton, 3 and 11, Burton and Trayshawn Holden. I mean, those there's a drop off because we're talking about first round wide receivers, but I think those guys can develop, get better and better with a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Back to your point, Brown, first couple of drives, Bryce Young made some plays with his legs. He was under a little pressure. So it's hard to tell if the offensive line is good or bad because it's Utah State, but I agree with the receivers.
And more than I think 8 different receivers caught balls in the first half. I don't know what the final total, but with Bryce out there in the first half, 8 different guys caught it. And you're right, Brown. When you're at halftime and Bryce Young's your leading rusher by a long shot, then maybe that's something to be concerned about. But the big positive is you're taking what they give you, and Bryce Young made some great plays and had a chemistry with Jermaine Burton, which was just a big check mark, I thought.
Well, Gibbs broke up that big run to start the second half there, the 58-yarder for the touchdown. But he had 9 carries, 93 yards. They had given up a 190-yard rusher against UConn. I expected Alabama to almost run at will in that game. And they ended up with 32 carries for 278, but 100 rush yards on 5 carries from Bryce Young. And some of that, too, was because they struggled to protect him. He got hit some. I think people had hoped you would have a noticeable improvement on the offensive line. I'm not saying that they can improve, but I don't know that they look that much improved from where they were last time we saw Alabama.
Yeah, I think it's a bigger test next week against Texas. I still get the feeling that Alabama's going to go into this game as a 13 to 14 point favorite. And I get the feeling that Alabama wins this game by 3+ touchdowns. But I do think it's a bigger test for this offensive line next week. And, we saw flashes of Gibbs. The thing that really jumps out to me, if it wasn't Bill O'Brien and Nick Saban, I think other coordinators and head coaches would use Bryce's ability with his legs. That kid can move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say this about, the hits that Bryce took or the pressure. Some of those could be on him trying to throw the ball deeper than a check down when the pressure is coming. You know what I mean? You sit there and maybe you get a little bit more pressure because you're wanting a play to develop instead of just, oh, here comes something off the edge. Let me just dump it down to the check down receiver. We get 7 yards and go on. If the situation ends up being different, you're in a game that is competitive. Maybe you see him get rid of the ball a little faster to a receiver for shorter yardage.
This is the Culver's Saturday postgame. Culver's, welcome to Delicious. All the great stuff for your tailgating. And anytime you're out and about, Culver's, welcome to Delicious. And also Next Round Cocktails, drinknextround.com, drinknextround.com. That defense, though, guys, that defense as advertised to me. I thought that defense, whose dog is that, Lance? That's not the
I filmed it out back.
No, you didn't.
I'm kidding. It's Cameron's dog. It's Charlie.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's Charlie? That's another Charlie? Yeah.
Another Charlie.
Yeah. That defense was as advertised, I thought. Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, great. I can see why you've got competition for those corner spots in the secondary. You got some guys you can play back there.
Yeah, they've got a mass of riches back there. And I think this entire defense, so we've already pulled a shutout and we're in week 1. This almost reminds me of 2020. I don't know if the team will go that direction where they dominate absolutely everybody. But again, outside of the offensive line, I didn't see a weakness. Secondary looked great. Pass rush is going to be incredible. Defense should be lights out.
I didn't see anything, when you compare to the opponent, anything that I would change or be disappointed about with the performance tonight. I thought everything looked good, and then typical Nick Saban Alabama fashion, they shut it down very quickly once you get to the second half and try to move the game along quickly and maybe see a little development from somebody else. So all the check marks for Alabama and Georgia today. Yes, 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 and yes.
I don't know how much you guys saw of it before the weather delay, but Texas A&M struggled offensively. Haynes King didn't look great against Sam Houston State. Now, I was wrong. I looked at Sam Houston State. I'm like, that's normally a good program. And I was like, they're not even getting any votes this year. That's because they're transitioning. They're going to 1A. So they're not going to FBS. So they're not going to get any votes right now. So it could still be a good, what used to be FCS team. But, man, I was not impressed by what I saw from Haynes King in that offense.
Yeah, I would say one thing, LT, about Haynes King is that I never liked Max Johnson at LSU, who's the backup there, I guess, because he never looked like he had really great arm strength. And then when I watch Haynes King make the throw to the sideline, same thing with me. Just ball doesn't jump off his arm. It seems to be a very soft ball floating out to. Seems like if you're playing a really, really good team, he's a recipe for some interceptions.
I brought this up, or I tweeted it out, that Texas A&M, and this is before they ended up scoring 30-plus points against a bad team. But I was like, this is the SEC's Iowa. I mean, if I'm an A&M fan, it's such an archaic offense. There's never good quarterback play. And, I think that was the difference. Anita Smith is good. A-Chain is good. I mean, they've got some playmakers. They've always had good tight ends, but Haynes King is just not a good quarterback. And it's going to be the same thing. I don't know how you guys feel, but watching Mississippi State tonight, again, we can't really gauge Auburn. Ole Miss looked okay. I thought Arkansas's defense was really good and their ability to run the football. And I think they'll get better once there is some rapport with KJ Jefferson and some of these new wideouts. But to me, I think it's going to be a difficult road for A&M. I would be completely shocked if they're a one-loss team really competing to get to an SEC championship.
Yeah, I've never thought the same about Jimbo Fisher since Rick Neuheisel broke the code on his offense on our show, and so as I watch them play offensive football now, I'm always like, when Neuheisel has this, man, they tried early on to be a deep threat with Haynes King early on, but inevitably he goes right back into that offense that seems to be very Iowa-like. I thought that was a good call by you. Better than Iowa was today, obviously.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But 110 rush yards, Dunaway. To your point, 110 rush yards. And it wasn't because they didn't try against Sam Houston. They had 32 carries. Just 110 rush yards against Sam Houston. Haynes King wasn't good, but they couldn't run the ball either. They've got a long way to go offensively.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I believe that, Haynes King is a guy that's won the job now twice, so he does something Jimbo likes a lot. The Connor Wegman guy, seeing him in person, standing next to Max Johnson, a lot shorter than I had imagined him. So I don't know what the future holds for this Texas A&M team. Let's see them against Miami down the road when they play a quality opponent and see how they measure up in a game that is a little bit more competitive than this one was. Though I think Sam Houston State, if you stack them up with, say, Mercer or some others, I think Sam Houston's a better team.
Well, next Saturday, real quick though, next Saturday they get Appalachian State. After what you saw today, does that worry you?
Yeah, great point. I assume Texas A&M is going to play better defense than the Fighting Tar Heels.
But I agree with you. Chase Bryce in that offense, they can score some points, and if A&M has an off day, turns the ball over a couple of times.
Yeah. Arkansas beat Cincinnati, but they didn't beat them.
Dunaway is funny after dark, man. I can't control the dogs.
I'm enjoying watching. It's like watching you at a zoo.
Is there an animal in there? Is that it? Just two dogs?
We got a tail flicking in front.
I know. It's wild in there. Hey, what game was I going to before the dogs interrupted me? It was another SEC game.
Don't ask me.
I started talking about it. All right, it is the Culver's Saturday post game. Culver's, welcome to Delicious. Great for your chicken, your burgers, all of those things. When you're headed to the games, great for all your tailgating is Culver's. Look at Dunaway. He's got that Culver's cup. Also, thank you for Next Round Cocktails. DrinkNextRound.com. Arkansas, thank you guys. Arkansas was where I was going. Arkansas over Cincinnati. Sam Pittman and Arkansas get the win. Not the way I thought they would win that game. I thought they would win it the way Dunaway said. Line up, force your will on them, just run it right down their throat. I want to give immense credit to Cincinnati and Luke Fickell for hanging in that game and having every opportunity to win that football game. Fickell did a tremendous job coaching that game, had his team prepared. That was a battle for Arkansas today.
I think
that's on me, LTU. Go.
I was going to say the three best teams in defeat were Utah, Notre Dame, and Cincinnati. For Luke Fickell to lose what he lost at a Group 5 level, be able to go on the road to a top 20 SEC team and play basically toe-to-toe with them with a brand new quarterback, brand new cornerbacks, that was impressive.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with two players. First of all, what the portal can do for you is amazing. Jaden Hazelwood just gives that Arkansas offense just such a great weapon, losing Traylon Burks and being able to have Hazelwood speed out there. And then Trey Knox, for a guy who's 6'5", 245 on that one score, that guy got down the sidelines. I mean, he is huge. Just think of how many big men we have in the SEC with Bowers and Darnell Washington, who played great at Georgia, and just the big guys that, even on the defensive side that can move so well. And you throw a Trey Knox in there at 6'5", 245, who fits the way Pittman wants to play so well. I mean, those two guys, what a great weapons for KJ Jefferson, who I thought played well too.
Yeah. The Auburn game has gone final, by the way. Auburn has won over Mercer 42-16, so that's final. South Carolina won 35-14. Alabama beat Utah State 55-0. Vandy held on to beat Elon. I know you guys weren't watching, but I happened to catch some of this. Elon scored to make it 42-31 with 5 minutes to go, got an onside kick. And all of a sudden you're thinking this would be the most Vandy thing ever. Everybody talking about them starting 4-0 and Elon backdoors them. But they win 42-31. Kentucky beats Miami, Ohio 37-13. Florida wins. We've talked about that. Ole Miss beat Troy 28-10. Jackson Dart was just okay.
Yeah. Okay. Zach Evans. You can see Zach Evans is going to be really good.
Yeah, 130 rush yards.
Yeah, and Ole Miss, the defense continues to get better and better, I think. I think Jackson Dart, you saw his athleticism, so I think they're going to get better and better. But he was just okay.
Just okay. That's pretty much it for the SEC in the top 25, unless I've missed somebody. Did I miss anybody you guys wanted to talk about?
No, not really. No, I mean, the Iowa game I thought was interesting.
Oh, yeah. We were going to come back to that. Yeah, almost 1,000 yards of punts in that game, Dunaway. I think it was 938 yards of punts in that game.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. I told you guys South Dakota State, they're one of the best FCS teams, and they had a chance, I think, on the morning show to beat Iowa. But I didn't think it would play out like that. I didn't cover the Mississippi State Tommy Tuberville Auburn game that was 3-2. But it seems to be that 3-2 game was more exciting than the 7-3 game.
I feel like you're right, but I don't know.
I can't remember why.
Do you realize how they got 7? I never thought I would see 7 created like this.
Yeah.
You get a field goal and then 2 second half safety.
Yeah.
I know.
It was 3-3 at the half, and that's when I turned it on because it was on main Fox, right? Yeah. Is that where I was watching it?
No, FS1.
Okay, FS1.
It was brought, yeah.
It had the main Fox crew on the halftime. I didn't have the sound up. But that's when I turned that one on. I was like, okay, 3-3. I mentioned the Jackrabbits earlier in the show. I'm going to watch this a little bit. And then when I woke up, it was a safety. Yeah. Then I woke up again. It was another safety. And I was like, oh, that's entertaining. 7-3. But it showed old fat Iowa guy rubbing his head, doing this, coming out of commercial break. He was bald like me. He was going, just like, what's wrong with our offense? And nothing ever happened for Iowa. They look like they look like the bottom. I was going to say the bottom of the Big Ten West, but then there's another Dakota, North Dakota, that was giving Scott Frost all he wanted today.
That was a game in the fourth quarter. If Frost lost that one, he's fired right away, right? He doesn't survive the night. Yeah.
Well, I still think they wait till October 1st.
I don't know, man. I think when you lose to North Dakota, you almost say, "Hey, look, I don't want to hear the bitching. It's worth $7 million for me not to catch the bitching." Guys, that game was 17-17 late. Nebraska pulled away in the fourth quarter. I got baited in and flipped over to watch it. That was a tight football game. They were fortunate to win that game. Tyler wants us on NC State. Lance, you've liked NC State all offseason. They absolutely had to survive at East Carolina. That was a tough win for them.
Well, they had 2 opportunities inside the 5-yard line to score touchdowns and end that game. And I give East Carolina a lot of credit, man. Their goal line stand on that final one, and I thought they were going to win the game. The missed extra point cost them overtime. They had still an opportunity to kick a 43-yarder to win it. Devin Leary wasn't good today. this is a guy that was, your ACC Offensive Player of the Year last year, or runner-up to Kenny Pickett. He just wasn't good today, though.
I'm sorry, I did not hear the question.
NC State, Dunaway. They just barely survived.
They did, and you're right. The offense did not look as good, and I didn't think the coach. He was not as good at managing the team today as I expected him to be. Dave Doran, he had there were a couple of moments. I'm trying to remember specifically what there was. I'll tell you what distracted me there for a second. Nobody in my family likes sports, and my son has been off at college for 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. And he just sent me. I've not heard from him all day. I've texted him 16 times.
Right.
He just sent me a text, and I will give you any one of you on the show $100 if you can guess what the text says.
Oh, Sweet Home Alabama.
No.
I went to the Alabama game with friends. Sorry.
No, I texted him the other night. He is a UAB student. He was supposed to be going to the UAB game, and I texted him and said, "Hey, how was the game?" And he was like, "What game?" And I was like, "Okay, never mind."
We got a roll tide from the back area here. What about? Will you get me a fake ID?
Yes, I would. But he just texted me. He goes, "I know this is the strangest thing I've ever asked you." That was one text, very Dunaway moment here. And then on a second text, I see the bubbles. He's sending me something. He goes, "I've got a fantasy football draft tomorrow, and I don't know anything about it."
Wow.
The kid's never watched one football game ever.
I like him, though. He's jumping in with a friend.
That's
All
right.
Let's do it. Yeah.
That's right. He doesn't know I suck at this.
Yeah, you might want to send him to somebody else. Send him to Lunsford or the roommate.
Yeah, Lunsford. Lunsford, I'm going to need you to send a cheat sheet to my son. Hey, but speaking, thanks for everybody who played along in the Dunaway DraftKings games today. I'll call them the Dunaway DraftKings games because
why'd you call them the Dunaway?
I'm looking at the final results, Brown. First, second for me today. What about you?
Yeah. No, I finished second behind you in our staff one, the one where I had Clayton Tune as my quarterback.
And where did I finish?
You were in the staff one, Lance. You were dead last.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
Possible, Brown.
Well,
I'm in the money on one of these. I just saw.
Well,
I'm in the money on two of these.
Not the staff one. You're not. The nighttime staff one. Maybe, I don't know. But the daytime staff when you were dead last.
Yeah.
Nighttime staff, you're in third place.
Yeah. I'm in second behind Reed, who's ahead of me by 8.
I'll tell you who killed me was CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I know, Dunaway, you give credit to Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame, and we absolutely should. Marcus Freeman's obviously a really good defensive coach. But I wonder a little bit about that Ohio State offense.
I don't think I do. I think it's just a one-off, Dunaway. I don't know what you think. I mean, I go back. I think they're going to be even improved from where they were last year. And I just remember Stroud throwing his best passes in that Rose Bowl. So I just think it was one of those one-offs. Maybe they were a little too tight, and I think they'll roll after this.
I did bring up, I said, we've built everything going into this season for Utah and Ohio State off the fact that they played a great game against each other. What if both of them just happened to be not as good as we projected them to be? And they just happened to look that great playing each other.
Yeah.
And Ohio State's offense did not look as good as they did in that Rose Bowl game. And Cam Rising in Utah's offense did not look as good as they did in that Rose Bowl game, though I think both of them are really quality teams. Utah will bounce back, probably win the Pac-12. I'm not worried about Ohio State. They'll still win. I haven't seen a Big Ten team that's going to beat them. I'll say that.
Yeah, because Charles says y'all can't say Notre Dame is a good team. We predicted a bloodbath. Notre Dame is no good. Therefore, Ohio State is no good. Well, I mean, we're predicting these games without seeing the teams. I mean, not that our predictions might be great otherwise, but when I'm predicting in the preseason, I'm predicting it without having seen the team. I'm guessing how they're going to be.
No, but you can be wrong. You can be wrong in predictions. I mean, to hold people to their predictions, that's okay, as long as those people that make predictions come back and say they're wrong, and we were wrong about that. And sometimes your predictions are changed by somebody doing something at a very high level, which is why I started the conversation off saying Marcus Freeman and his coaching staff, way back at the beginning of the show, did an excellent job of scheming to take everything away that Ohio State does really well and force them into dinking and dunking and running the football and really taking what CJ Stroud does really well and forcing them to play left-handed tonight. And then hats off for Ohio State to change their game plan in the middle by changing everything they'd prepared to do, what they had been built to do, and winning it in an old-fashioned way of handing it off, dinking and dunking, and winning it with defense. And you can say, oh, it wasn't the bloodbath you thought it was going to be. It wasn't. But you can't take away from Ohio State that they did win the football game handily, and they did it playing left-handed, changing in the middle. That's just not being a smart football fan if you can't accept the fact that Ohio State did something really, really good tonight against a well-coached Notre Dame team.
Hey, and let's not forget that this is a Notre Dame team. It's not like Marcus Freeman took over a program that was 3-9. You know, he took over a program that was in a New Year's Six Bowl last year and was in the college football playoff 2 of the last 5 years. So, you know, and he's even recruiting better than Brian Kelly was. So, you know, it's not surprising that Notre Dame's going to end up being good. I just didn't think they would be able to match up tonight. I thought they'd get better as the season went on.
Yeah, there's still a gap between talent on the Ohio State side and the Notre Dame side, which is why I go right back to the coaching job Marcus Freeman did tonight. I mean, better quarterbacks, better receivers, not a better tight end, but that defense played their butts off tonight, and just a great job of how they schemed things up. And then flipping it back around, the adjustments that Ohio State's offense made in the second half to win the football game, I thought was brilliant by Ryan Day.
Yeah. By the way, we were asked the update on Jackson Smith and Jigba. He went out in that game. Brian, I was just looking as you guys were talking there. Ryan Day told the media afterwards he hopes to get him back this week. So it doesn't appear to be too serious with Jackson Smith and Jigba. That would be a massive loss for them.
I thought that was targeting, to be honest with you, that hit he took on the sideline.
I did too.
I did too, yeah. Yeah, I did too. Targeting, I never know what is or isn't. I don't know if you guys were watching the Penn State-Purdue game when that guy got tossed for targeting Thursday night. I didn't see it, but, you know, targeting is in the eye of the beholder. Hey, Tyler,
it is. And I would just say, though, that before we even invented targeting, what I thought the Notre Dame player did to him on the end would have gotten a 15-yard penalty for a flag for, a helmet lead, spearing, I think is what we used to call it back when I was a kid. I thought he went at him attacking with his helmet, and I thought that would have been a 15-yard penalty even if we were playing football in the 70s.
Tyler is with you, LT. He's seen enough. He says Oregon State can play. What's that score now?
Yeah, it's 17-0.
They're running all over Boise, aren't they?
Yeah, I'll say this, and, I brought it up on the show or the Players Club the other day. You look at Jonathan Smith going into his 5th year, a former quarterback at Oregon State. They went from 2 wins to 5 wins, skipped that 2020 year. I think they played 4 games to 8 wins last year. He's building something there, and this is like a true program build. It's what you would see with Mark Stoops at Kentucky. It's what you would see with, Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech, Bill Snyder at Kansas State. I think you're seeing this. I'm not saying they're going to be a national power. They'll be a factor in the Pac-12 this year, though.
Yeah. I agree with you. Is Lunsford still with us? I'd love to know. Does he think I should start a FadeDunaway.com or something like that where I could give out daily fantasy play? I'm just looking at some of the great plays I had today and how I beat everybody, and was just wondering, is that another opportunity for us to make money?
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, and I was not involved in the bet, the 3-team parlay got blown up before we ate lunch, didn't it?
Yeah,
it did. That was a sucker bet.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's why they're teasers. I mean, look, NC State should have won that game going away, in my opinion. I'll give Mike Houston credit. That East Carolina team is scrappy, and they'll be, to me, kind of what you'll see with Oregon State in the Pac-12. What you'll probably see with Florida in the SEC, they're that kind of middle of the run team that's going to upset 1 or 2 teams they probably shouldn't, because that team plays with swagger too.
Yeah, without a doubt, what I've learned is traditional betting, the way you used to bet in the old days, I am horrible at it. But what the kids are doing, daily fantasy, is where I'm good, Brown.
This is where you dominate.
This is where I'm going to excel, daily fantasy.
Okay, well,
hey, by the way, where are we on stake bets?
You're now up 3. You're up 3.
Week 2.
Is that the only game we had tonight, or the only thing?
Yes, that's the only one today, I think. I'll have to go check, but I'm pretty sure yes.
Lunsford says, yes, you definitely need to do that, because week 2 overreactions will be great to fade. He thinks you'll adjust too much.
I would agree with Lunsford.
Well, I mean, I put a lot of thought into it, to be honest with you. We were on the air a little longer than I thought in the 9 to 10 a.m. show. By the way, we're back there again next week, 9 to 10 a.m. Join us. Went a little deep there. Then I had to clean up a little bit before Maggie got home. And then, truth be told, I was on the old can, and it was 9:55. And 9:55, I did something Marty Smith hates. I pulled out my phone, and I was like, I've got to get my fantasy lineup in. So for 5 minutes sitting on the can, I threw together the lineups that finished first, and second. So if that's not a
lineup, how many of those guys did you know? Outside of your quarterbacks.
Oh, I knew them all.
Oh, no, you didn't? No, you didn't. No,
you
get down there. No, like when you're on your super flex and you got $3,500 left, you didn't know that guy.
Oh, I mean, let me tell you. You guys don't think that
I bet you went Trayshawn Holden, you had Jermaine Burton, you had Bryce Young.
I did have Jahmyr Gibbs. I thought he was going to be huge.
No, I mean, on one, I had Hall, the quarterback from BYU, as my quarterback, Evans from Ole Miss, A-Chain from Texas A&M. I mean, I dropped R. Jarrett. Who doesn't know R. Jarrett from Maryland, who got me 20 points today. Ali from Michigan, Knox from Arkansas, McConkey from Georgia, and McIntosh from Georgia. That's a hell of a lineup there, boys.
McConkey. How about him having 2 touchdowns today?
Oh, yeah. Lad McConkey. They have got the biggest set of pass catchers, though. That freaking tight end. Not Brock Bowers, but the other one.
Darnell Washington?
Yeah, Darnell Washington. That dude is massive. Stetson Bennett can throw to some big targets when they got both those guys on the field.
Well, and think about once they get Eric Gilbert out there. I mean, my gosh. Everybody talks about the athleticism and size of him, that he's a Kyle Pitts-like type weapon. I mean, all they got to do is run the football with, 3-4 backs that they've got, that offensive line with tight ends. They don't need wideouts.
And I'm offended you guys don't think I know anything about Des Milton, wide receiver from Louisville, that's smart enough to play him tonight. I mean, come on. I talk about Des Milton all the time on the show.
I'm going to say Des Milton might be transferring next year because Satterfield might not be the head coach. I mean, that was a bad loss. When you score 7 points on the road, I know people will say overreaction. There are some coaches that are already on hot seat, no doubt.
Put him there? You would put Scott Satterfield there that quick?
I mean, he's got a veteran quarterback in Malik Cunningham, and the defense was horrible tonight. And the offense with Malik Cunningham scored 7 points against a team that won, 4 games last year.
Yeah, while you're talking about Louisville, though, back to the Alabama game. How surprised are you Tyler Harrell, 0 touches in that game?
Well, I had him on my fantasy team with you guys.
Well, that was a big fat 0 for you there.
The only reason I played him is he wasn't expensive, and he was on the 2 deep. So I just assumed that Alabama would do what they did in the first half, and there would be opportunities for a lot of receivers to kind of show out in a game situation. So I thought Harrell would at least get a couple of opportunities up top, show that speed off, and see what it's all about. But that was surprising to me.
Yeah,
that does surprise me too. But it's what they do. Reddit just tweeted out reaction. You mentioned Satterfield, so I went back and brought this up. These are Louisville fans reacting. I am genuinely embarrassed I bought into this team in any capacity, says Purple's Pig Cardinal fan. And then Merp Ninja UL says, I can't believe I drank the Kool-Aid on this coach and this team. So yeah, I think he could be in a little bit of trouble, LT.
Yeah, I just thought it was going to be – it's funny. I brought this up earlier today for whatever reason. I was listening to Stanford Steve on one of these ESPN broadcasts, and he said UCLA's going to win the Pac-12. They're down 17-7. They score the final 38 points of that game to go away. But he was also talking about Louisville will be the most improved team in the ACC, and I think it went backwards. I mean, I'm a little surprised. I guess it's one of these Boise situations where we saw almost every coach have success there. Maybe Satterfield, I just thought he was the one that built Appy State, and I thought he was a really good coach, but that's just a bad start to 2022.
Yeah. Harrell out hurt, by the way. Everybody in the room was pointing out they saw him at the game in a hoodie, street clothes on the sideline, so he was not even dressed. So that's why I would have 0 touches.
Good start on my part.
Yeah, really. Starting to hurt guy. They got Law came in. He had 2 catches. Isaiah Bond had a couple of catches. I mentioned earlier Kobe Prentice. Those are all freshmen, so they were getting a lot of guys in there.
Yeah, Isaiah had been banged up in camp a little bit, so for him to get out there, it looks really good. LT, don't worry about it. Next week you can log on to fadedunaway.com and find out who you need to play.
Was it that bad for you today?
No, I had a great day. And what Lunsford, I think, is insinuating is I can't do it 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, so you had a good day.
Yeah.
Hey, can I tell you somebody that sent me a text from Brian Denny?
Oh, yes.
This
is the Culver's. Let Dunaway think. The Culver Saturday post game. Culver's Welcome to Delicious. 2 great locations in Birmingham. More to come. You can get the chicken, the burgers, all that for your tailgating at Culver's Welcome Delicious. Also, thank you to Next Round Cocktails. Drinknextround.com, drinknextround.com for Next Round Cocktails. Here is the salted lime margarita. I've also got the sangria right there over my shoulder. Salted lime margarita and sangria, much more. You can see it all at drinknextround.com. If you scroll up in the chat, Lunsford is giving you a link to everywhere you can buy Next Round Cocktails. We got a link from our website. Dunaway, who do you think sent Lance a text?
My 3 guesses are John Parker Wilson, Russ Campbell, and
John Parker Wilson sent me a text from Bryant Denny today. So.
And Terry Saban. Those are my 3 guesses.
So I didn't ask you who sent me the text. I asked what the text was in reference to.
I thought you said who sent it.
Very wild, very, very all over the place.
So I think you said who sent it.
No, I didn't. But it's okay.
Check the tape. Check the tape.
Okay. I had some friends come in town last night from Atlanta, and they brought a couple of their daughters, and they were going to Tuscaloosa today because one of their daughters, who's a senior, is trying to decide between Colorado and Alabama. And they're from Atlanta. And so they wanted to come by and see the studios this morning. So I met them up at the studios, and I gave them all a little bit of gear. All the girls got a T-shirt, and my buddy got a hat. And he said, got a compliment on the TNR hat leading into the game. Noticed several other head nods and winks as well. It sort of feels like you guys are building an underground army with this thing. Good shit. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I'd prefer it being above ground army.
Yeah, I don't like the word. I don't like underground army.
Hey, we got to start underground, then we can invade.
Yeah.
like we're independent film contractors. Maybe we can go to Sundance next year.
Hey, I wonder what the alcohol experience was like at Bryant Denny.
One of our viewers tweeted in, Brown. You want to know what he said?
Yeah.
I think it was second quarter. Second quarter, card machines down, cash only.
Very good. Yes, much like you're in Ireland. They were just giving it away in Ireland. I mean, I guess that's gonna happen some places, right?
Yeah. I guess what you need to do now is you got to take a lot of cash to the games if you're going to buy alcohol. Our technology cannot support beer sales and sporting events for college football.
Yeah. By the way, Tyler says Underground Army, hashtag Underground Army. Maybe that's a good T-shirt for us.
Oh,
they're always looking for T-shirts. Yeah.
We can get the little toy soldier guy. Nothing on that.
Army.
Okay, there you go.
Jerry says, "What do you guys expect out of Clemson Monday night?" I expect them. Well, let's do the next 2 games. Let's do. What do you guys expect out of LSU, Florida State tomorrow night? Lance, have you had a chance to look at that game? My Florida State buddy's been wearing me out. He's been wearing me out about what you think about it.
I actually think Jordan Travis is going to be the best quarterback in this game. I really do. I think Jaden Daniels is going to get the start for LSU. I think we'll end up seeing Nussmeier because I think the offense is going to be bogged down. LSU hasn't been able to run the football the last couple of years. I don't think they'll be able to this year. I kind of like Florida State in this game. It's a tough game. Dunaway's got 24-17 LSU. Nothing's going to surprise me. It's one of the more difficult games on the board, but I just got a feeling. And again, one of those coaches, if Norvell goes out and lays an egg in year 3, I mean, there's just no excuse. I go back to, what we saw with Marcus Freeman tonight, what we saw with Billy Napier tonight, taking over brand programs. And, even if you were to lose a game like Freeman did, and if Napier would have lost, if Rising instead throws a touchdown, those look like teams that were disciplined. They looked engaged. They looked like they had been in the second or third year of a program. And to be year 1, I just think coaches should be able to do that right now.
I can't disagree. I mean, you should be able, if you're a great coach, you should be able to come in and take the talent you have and make them look good. Sam Pittman did it, and you don't have to necessarily win, but you need to look good. Now you got a little bit of a veteran staff at Florida State and Mike Norvell, so he's got a little bit of an advantage. But I like 16 portal players for Brian Kelly, and those portal players can make an impact pretty darn quick. I think it'll be a good day for LSU, helped out by the fact that it'll be 60,000 LSU fans in the building.
I'm only going to pull this up because this is so weird when I have these, but this is one of those deja vu moments. This happened in a dream where I read this. You guys clearly don't know the crowd you attract. It's like the Dark Knight Rises. We're all in a sewer waiting to invade. I dreamt that I read that one time. That is such a weird feeling when that happens, but it did. So I was going to read it just to make the dream come true.
Wait, so was that new tonight?
Yeah. That's tonight, just now. Yeah, Benjamin. It's based on the Underground Army. They're in a sewer waiting to evade.
I like it.
Yeah. Landmine Believers. Huh? Go ahead, Jim.
I really teared up a little bit right there. That's very nice. That was very sweet.
Landmine Believers says State looks decent. Typical Mike Leach 8 or 9 win team. I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of this because most of it's been played while we've been on here. But they are up 35-10, so that's a pretty good win.
They're going to be a good team. I'm telling you, we're seeing, and I think what we all know is, like, right now college football is top heavy with elite programs, but all the in betweens are really coming close together. And I think a lot of it is the transfer portal. I think guys staying around for that extra COVID year. We're going to see a ton of upsets this year. And again, Mississippi State might lose some games they shouldn't, but they're going to win some games they shouldn't.
Yeah, you think they'll beat Georgia still, right? Even after today, you're off that a little bit, right?
Well, I mean, let's just see how the season plays out. Again, I think Mississippi State, this is Mike Leach's best team. And again, Memphis is sadly a program going in the wrong direction.
They really are. They really are going in a different direction. But I don't see Georgia losing a game. I know you've been high on Mississippi State. That Georgia team, I don't think will lose a game.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Will says, before it ends, great first wrap up. Hope LT joins more this year. All three of you guys, truly the secret recipe. He enjoyed it.
Yeah. I like it better when it's all three of us too. I really wish Lance was a little sloppier. I mean, I was expecting, Jimmy Two Beer will come out eventually. I've not had a chance to really get into it today, but Lance, a little bit more alcohol content, I say.
I don't even want to tell you where I've been from earlier today to now because it's going to make me sound bad. But again, in control, right?
Yeah, you're in perfect control.
And once we shut it down, I'm going to get wild. That's when the disco ball will drop and everybody's going to come in. If you guys want to come over tonight, it's going to be pretty crazy.
No, I'm good.
I really want, by vote in the chat room, it's okay if LT's a little sloppy on the air. Everybody's
sure. I think it may be all right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll just show y'all this real quick. So this is me. And
this is everyone
the amount of me.
Oh, wow. Is that Mac Brown?
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
Did somebody get that joke there, please?
Somebody's a pro.
Is that Mac Brown?
God, he looks huge. How big did Mac Brown look?
Oh, typical Saturday.
Yeah, Mac Brown looked horrible. He did. He ate Fansville.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. By the way, all the way back, that was the joke I was going to make. Way back when, finally made it right then.
Way back when.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
Remember the first joke way back in the beginning? You said, "Oh, go ahead and say it." And I said, "I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later."
Do you guys think Oregon State, if this holds on, do you think they're ranked next week?
I'd have to look at the rankings. Yeah, they were pretty close, right?
I don't know. I don't know if they were. I know they received some votes. I don't know how many, but
let's see. Oregon State. I'll just look at the coaches poll.
I'm going to say no quickly because I think Florida is going to be ranked, and they were nowhere close. Florida will jump into the top 25 automatically.
They should.
Yeah.
They should. I wonder how far Utah will drop because again, I think Utah could still run the table. I don't know what that means. It gets a lot is dependent upon how good Florida is this year. But I still think Utah could run the table in the Pac-12.
Well, first of all, I don't think Notre Dame will drop much. Notre Dame's 5th. I think they probably show themselves pretty well. I don't think they'll drop much. Utah's 7. They'll obviously drop. Oregon's 11. They should drop a lot. Oregon should drop like a rock. I think there's space Oregon State. I don't know. They were pretty deep. I didn't see them getting votes.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe they get votes this week. Ultimately, win a couple of games. One final question to you guys from me. If today's Utah played today's Oregon, and they skull drug Oregon twice last year, how bad do you think Utah beats Oregon?
Very badly. If the two that played today met, I would like Utah by 3 touchdowns in that game.
Utah beat USC by 14. The USC I saw today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I do think the Utah we saw today would beat the Oregon we saw today, but Utah's defense isn't going to look like Georgia's defense, so it's hard to compare.
Dunaway said he was impressed. I was in control. He wanted to sloppier than me. I tried. This is what happened.
Well, Dave said the line of the day is he ain't fans.
I've got no room to talk.
Oh, Mac was huge though, and he was wearing that tight sweatshirt. Why was he wearing that sweat?
I know, isn't it? It's September 1 or 2. It had to be like 80 degrees. Yeah. That's what I thought too.
Hey, so did y'all notice in the first half they showed 2 girls at the Mercedes Dome, and I didn't have the volume. I couldn't hear. Was one of them Stetson's girlfriend?
I don't know. I didn't have
notice that.
A lot of girls on TV today.
Yeah, but I mean, they focused on 2. They sat on it for a second. They were commenting on it. And one looked like she could be Stetson's girlfriend, which would be impressive.
Was one of them like eating something and licking her fingers?
I think she just had like her collagen and her lips were way too big.
Oh, well, there was one. They had just done a Marty Smith Cheez-It commercial. And Sean McDonough comes back talking about how much he likes Cheez-Its and how he would
apparently she does too.
Yeah, but she was eating like nachos, so I think they were kind of playing off that, and they were showing those 2 girls. But Sean McDonough was just talking about Cheez-Its the whole time.
Hey, so. Cheez-Its are a rat product that are pretty good though.
Does he even know you're doing
I'm going to try to. I don't know how I can help bizarre my scene tonight, next Saturday, but I'm going to try.
I don't even want to be a part of this.
No, look, Riley. Hey, listen, Riley. These are when it gets good, man. Riley says, "How bad were the Jimbo commercials? Did y'all see any of those Jimbo? How bad an actor is Jimbo?"
Oh, he's a better coach. It says a lot right there. Yeah, those are terrible. I feel bad for Marty's good in that role. You know, he's got a Ram commercial now.
I know.
Marty's a personable redneck.
He had just done the Cheez-It commercial that Sean McDonough was talking about. Bobby asks, "Is that Mincy at Club LT?" Hey, Mincy's dropped some LBs. He's been working out.
That's a good call, Bobby. That's Mincy with a little of my blood sprinkled in. Yeah.
Oh, LT. My gosh. Kevin, did he get up and leave? Was I him leaving?
Yes.
I think he went to the bathroom finally. I don't know if he's going to shower or shit.
Kevin said, "Forget screenshots. That guy should be Brown's Twitter picture for the week."
We have a winner.
I agree. You know what? The funny thing, he never knows.
Oh, I know. He wouldn't know.
He kept asking me, "Where's the Alabama game tonight?" And I'm like, "It's on the top middle TV." "Where's the Alabama game?" I was like, 44-0. Why do you care?
Jim says, "I never thought Brownie would look the most blitzed because he says I got the 2 a.m. giggles." Well, it was pretty funny. Now I'm sorry, guys.
Well, we did give you a bottle of Dobell the other day, so
yeah, I haven't even cracked it. Next round cocktails, though.
Yeah,
this is what you get. Next round cocktails. Drink next round.
Hey, just stick a key in it, Brown, and suck it.
Stick a key in it and suck it.
You want me to shotgun one before y'all go off? Oh, there he goes. Okay. I was going to do it. I like it.
That's a salted lime margarita is what that is.
Yeah, it really is. Very good. 14.7% alcohol.
If I had one with me, I'd guzzle it right now.
Right, get one. I'll trade you the Champions you were going to bring me this morning, or a good Culver's butter burger. I'll trade you a couple of margaritas for it.
Well, I mean, when I worked in television, I always was the first to get product. Now I'm the last on the chain. I gotta get you something to get the product.
Here we go.
Where are we at next round?
Hey, you were on the golf course at 1:30 when we were sitting there talking to the fine folks at Next Round, and they're the ones that gave us the product.
That's not true. I was there the day it came up. I sampled it.
Snooze, you lose.
There was one of each of these at my desk, and I think I probably forgot to give it to you.
It's probably
Brown would have more sips than you on this show.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I'm drinking Redmont vodka. Anybody else drinking a sponsor too? Redmont, thank you.
This ain't a sponsor, but it's good.
Hey, I'm sure it's probably a Kelsey client, right? She always takes care of you guys and never gives me the product. I get the
Shout out
signage
Kelsey.
though. Get the I get the signage though.
Hey, you know what though, Lance?
I follow orders. I follow orders.
Lance, you know what? If you bring the drinks home, you can't be a martyr.
Hey, so can you still eyeball your wife, or did she escape?
She is what we like to call asleep.
You think she'll get a nudge on the shoulder tonight?
And I will not be showing her. No.
Nudge on the shoulder. Oh, you're awake. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I wake up?
There's a chance I call her ghost though later.
All right, that's probably going to do it there. Thank you to Culver's. Culver's, welcome to Delicious. You can find them 119 and 280. Also, Stadium Trace out by the Hoover Met. Great for your burgers, your chicken, all your tailgating right there at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. And Dunaway is showing you Next Round Cocktails. DrinkNextRound.com is where you can find out more for Next Round Cocktails. Dig up in the chat, and you'll find Lunsford's link on where you can buy Next Round Cocktails. DrinkNextRound.com. That is DrinkNextRound.com. MJ wants one more look. He got up though, didn't he? He got up, right?
Cameron. Yeah. Just come here real quick. What are you doing, dude? Just want one more.
Cameron, that's Brown, not Jim. Jim's not laughing.
Dunaway, I tried.
Oh my gosh. Oh, eat M&Ms.
If you don't make the next 13 weeks with us, LT, you are letting us all down.
I'm going to try my best. Now the problem next week, I might be in Austin. I just found this out today, so. But I wouldn't go till after the show Friday. I'll be back Saturday night if I go.
But there's not another seat?
I mean, I'll try to work another seat. I don't know if there's one seat. If there's one seat, there could be two, there could be three. Are you guys down?
I'll set it on a cooler, yeah.
I don't know.
See, I'm a little, be honest, even if it comes through 11 o'clock, and somebody was asking me, why is it even 11 o'clock? And it's Fox's.
That's prime time.
Yeah. It'll be 100 degrees in Austin, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be hot as 10 hells.
Yeah, I'm checking. Did you even see what the temperature was today in Austin?
I did not.
I didn't realize we'd go hour 17. I'm checking temps, but let me do it real quick.
Why not? I mean, what else we got to do?
Really? I'm just going to pour another bourbon. So 7 day, it looks like Austin. Oh my God, it's going to be It's going to get up to 95 on Tuesday. Now, the good news is it's going to start raining on Thursday. The rain should carry out throughout the weekend with a little southwest variety going to Corpus Christi. Rain chances 40 to 50%, a low of 72 on Saturday, a high of 90. It's going to be really, really humid and hot.
That's JP Bald Ass with your forecast. We'll get Rick's plays when we come back.
All right, that's going to do it. We're really going to quit this time. Thank you, Culver's. Thank you, Next Round Cocktails. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with our foolishness. Boys, y'all have a good night. We'll see you. We're live Monday.
What games are on right now? What games do we want?
Oregon State. Keep pulling the Beavers. I'm a Beaver believer.
Oregon State's killing them. Mississippi State, I think, just finished. Washington has just kicked a field goal that is good. They are up 31-13.
Can I share one final words of wisdom for you guys, and I'm out? Save a tree, eat a beaver.
That's a good Oregon State line. All right, thank you.
Why is that not in the game day song? That should be in the game day song.
He's literally out. He just ended his broadcast. Dunaway, have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
See you, man.